Hey, hey, hey. What's
Okay, okay,
up?
okay.
We in
Check.
here.
Mm. Doom, 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 doom. Hey y'all, how's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We getting started just a little bit later. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. We're getting started right on time. Everything is divine. BB,
Always.
what's up?
Nothing much. What's up?
Chicken butt.
I'm excited to be here, though. I'm excited to be here. You ready for
I'm glad
tonight's
to see your
show?
face. I am. I am, honey. We're going to be the moonlight on this beautiful Monday evening. We're
We
going to be the
are.
starlight power on this
We
beautiful
are.
Monday evening.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so we've got a pretty interesting topic today. Uh, Definitely controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so I'm excited to get
Me
into this.
too.
I'm a little nervous, but
Really.
I'm excited at the same time.
Me too.
Let's see. Looks like we already got some people in the chat.
We do.
Mike, what's up? Our top fan, our top supporter, has been
Period.
here since day one, religiously checks in all the time.
Yes.
We are super, super grateful to have you in our circle of influence.
We
How was your day,
are.
Mike?
Hey,
How are
Mike.
you today?
We look good online, so we in there.
Do we look good, girl?
We do, honey. It's given prepared. Came.
Definitely. Cha cha
Oh,
cha. Yes, we're glad to see you guys here. Definitely, we are encouraging everyone to engage in today's topic. All opinions are welcome as long as they are respectful, and we ask that they're kept on topic, right? Um, we will have an opportunity for um, times where we will go back and read the chats and respond, but we definitely encourage you guys to tap in, so they say. Tap in with us, engage with us, let us
yeah.
know what you think about what we're talking about. Let us know your feelings. Let us know if you guys have any solutions to some of the stuff that we talk about today. So,
Mm.
Mike, your day was good. You cooked earlier. Okay, man, getting in the kitchen. All right,
We love to see
that's
it.
dope. Yes, yes. Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of the Beauty Vault. Okay, let's go ahead and do our intro. We've got three people. Let's not keep them waiting.
All right. What's up, everyone? I'm BB Nicole.
Peace and blessings. It's your girl Trend, and welcome back to another episode on season 2 of The Beauty Vault.
Yeah. I'm BB Nicole. I am the founder of GHG Pro University, as well as salon owner at deluxegallery.co for the ones that don't know.
That's right, girlfriend. And it's your girl Trend. I'm the CEO of Totally Trend LLC. I'm your co-host here on the Beauty Vault, as well as your co-educator at GHG Pro University. Welcome, 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 welcome. You guys, we are excited to be here for another episode. We come here weekly, each and every Monday around 9:30 p.m. And I want to go ahead and give us a round of applause and a
We
pat on the back,
deserve that for
because
sure.
we have pushed through adversity, we have pushed through trial, we have pushed through loss, we have pushed through depression, we have pushed through mental health, and we have showed up every Monday, not only for ourselves, for each other, and for the culture.
It's
I'm proud of
true.
us. Okay,
Me
we're doing big
too.
things, you guys. Today's episode is sponsored by DHG Pro University, yours truly, beautiful BB Nicole, as well
Yes.
as myself. BB Nicole is the founder of DHG Pro University. She is the lead educator that for microlinks, and she's an extension expert, extension and a texture expert. So
Yes.
she has some classes that are going on right now. You guys, if you want to take your business to an elite level, the next level, the top level, and increase your revenue by 40, 50, 60%, you definitely want to tap in with the Miss Beautiful BB Nicole, as well as check out that beat, okay? Check out that beat, all
Thank
right?
you.
Let's get
Nicolette
into it.
Money. All right.
Yes.
That was amazing intro. You gonna tell them about your class? You got a whole hair expo coming up.
You guys, super, super excited. Wanted to say thank you guys so much for just trusting me with your hair, and making me the people's choice, making me the people's choice for locks, right? I am your local lock educator, and I have the honor of joining some entrepreneurs, some professionals in the barber industry, in the beauty industry, in the fashion industry. So we're coming together to do the Good Hair Fest on August the
Love it.
13th. Actually, it's going to be a weekend event. There's going to be an all white party on the rooftop. I mean, we're going to have barber competitions, makeup competitions, hair competitions. It's going to be so crazy. We're going to have lots of vendors there. Yours truly. Hopefully, we'll have a special guest doing some micro links there.
Working on
So
it. Working on it.
we're gonna keep speaking that into existence. But you guys, this is not gonna be an event that you want to miss. It's gonna be an outside event, close around the Fillmore area. So it's gonna be really, really nice. It's gonna be the first one, so you guys gotta definitely make sure that you bring your family out, bring your whole family out. We're gonna have something there for everyone, where you're not gonna only have the opportunity to network, but learn about your hair, learn about your health, your beauty, your inner health, your outer beauty, and have the opportunity to fellowship with other people that are in your community. Join us for the Good Hair Fest. Get your free tickets on Eventbrite. We will drop a flyer on the post with the one-on-one classes for BB and I, with the lock classes, the braid classes, the microlink classes, as well as for the event going on August 13th. And if there are any vendors out there who are interested in being a part of our event, you guys make sure that you tap in with us, you connect with us, so that you can be a part of this wonderful, great event. Right? What's up, you guys? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I see
Love it.
we got some people checking in with us. It's an honor.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High has chose to breathe life in our lungs today, so we're taking full advantage of that tonight. You know?
Grateful for that.
Yes, we are. Tonight, we're breaking the silence, people.
Let's get into it.
We're breaking the silence. We know your time is precious, so we are not going to hold you, but only as long as we need to tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Today's hot topic, we are discussing. We're focused, and we want to communicate, and we want to talk directly to the brown community. Some of us may identify as Black. I like to identify us as brown. Both are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Both are strong. Both are resilient. Right? Both have overcome a lot of adversity just because of the color of our skin. And brown and Black, we both have to do better when it comes to being the solution to the problems in our community. So that's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to kind of like start off by like, can you bring them up to speed? Because I'm just catching up as far as like the video that's kind of going viral, and it's like been mixed dialogue about it, mixed opinions. Can you kind of like let them know a little bit, like a premise of like where we'll be coming from, like kind of what made us say, you know, enough is enough. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so all the listeners out there and all the watchers out there, I am going to assume that you've seen or you've heard tell, if you scrolled on your social media and you got a gist of what's going on in the brown community right now. There was a video that I came across where there was a 34, I may be wrong, and you guys don't quote me, because you know how information can get mistranslated or miscommunicated over time. So I'll do my best. Be patient with me. I'll do my best to retell my perception of the story that I got. So there's a 34-year-old female who I assume she looks like she might be at Popeyes, like she might be going, or I'm not sure where she was. She's
Like
in
a
a
mom and
restaurant, it
pop.
looks like to me. Yeah. She's at a restaurant, but she's engaging in a confrontation, in a verbal confrontation with another gentleman. We'll call him a male.
Mhm.
And they're arguing, they're going back and forth, and the video shows the 32-year-old male kind of going back and forth, and he tells the lady, hey, if you don't hush, if you don't be quiet, I put this on my grandma, I'm gonna knock you out. And
That's crazy.
the woman continues to what it looks like could be holding her ground, standing her ground, or staying firm in whatever she believed or whatever she was communicating. She continues to argue and she continues to communicate with the guy, and within return strikes her, strikes the woman in the face. And from what I saw, after the first strike, he kind of draws his elbow back and socks her, and then it looks like he goes back to hit her again. Which would be at least 2 times that I witnessed from watching the video that he struck the woman. So the result of the woman getting striked, from my perception, the son is watching on the sideline.
Yeah.
Or the son becomes involved. The son has a gun on him where he pulls the gun out and shoots the guy who has assaulted his mother. Allegedly shoots the guy who assaulted his mother. So then there's another video where you see the mother and the son kind of, I don't know whether they're following someone outside or they're outside, where there's an additional shot that is fired, or additional shots that are fired to the man that assaulted his mom, which led to him dying, right? Which led to losing his life. So after this, the mother and the son, I think they have warrants at this time. The police want to bring them in for questioning. I'm not sure. They end up, the mother and the son, they turn themselves in, and in return, they are released. From what the information is put out to the public, that they were released and that the charges were dropped. And that was that. But then there's recently tale of the mother. The mother is now suing, I want to say, the police department or the justice system. She's suing the police department for a wrongful arrest, right? She feels like she was arrested for no reason. There was no reason for her or her son to be arrested because she was done wrong. And there are other videos that have come out. You know, there have been posts about this thing, and there's other videos or footage of the funeral of the guy who lost his life, where some of the members or some of the people who attended the funeral, they wore shirts that were descripted knockout king or knockout guy or something like that, something in reference to him being known for knocking someone out. You know, and this is what the people chose to spray paint on their shirts in honor of his transition. I'll say that, right?
Wow.
You know, and then you see images of him. You know, he has a picture on his casket with him holding a handful of money, so on and so forth. So watching this video, watching the different clips from the video, I've been, flipping on Facebook, looking on social media, seeing the different opinions and the things, and how we have as a community have responded to the situation. What we as a brown community have chose to actually make points about. There's so many things that has transpired, and so many
Mhm.
things that caught my attention just from seeing this small clip, or just this situation. But it just makes me question us as a brown community as a whole.
Mhm.
You know, brown people, are we the problem? We're the problem and the solution.
And those are the
And
facts.
today we're going to begin to continue to break the silence, and hopefully break some of these curses, these generational curses,
Mhm.
and hopefully begin to shine some light on some of the problems that we are having in the brown community, so that we can acknowledge them and hold ourselves accountable, so that we can make some changes. Because in order for us to be able to be better as a brown community, in my opinion, it's going to take it's going to take some unlearning, and some new habits. We're going to have to create some new habits. So we're going to have to stop doing some things, and we're going to have to start doing some new things.
Mm.
So we want to talk about that a little bit today.
We
Today's
do.
hot topic is breaking the silence. Brown people, we are the problem as well as
And
we're the
this,
solution.
yeah,
We're in
I
this
like.
together, though.
We are. That was a beautiful introduction. I love everything about that. So we can get on into it. So I
Okay.
so in regards to that video, like just watching it, I immediately, the first thing that caught my attention is like, we have a male cocking his fist back, clearly mad. I don't even know if all this anger is like really directed towards her, but internally there's some anger. There's some rage. And I feel like what really stood out the most is like there are two adults, and no one thought to like diffuse the situation. No one thought to like, take a step back. And then when the assault took place and the assault started happening, what stood out the most to me, and so much stood out, and we will break it down, but what stood out the most to me is the people, everybody just running, like we're just throwing fists. And there was a man, there was two women, I believe, and a man. And the man just like ran, like he just ran, like, I don't know, like it just shocked me that no one wanted to like step in. And I know it's not their business, but how much are we going to play into that topic? How much are we going to play into like minding our business? When is that enough? When do we stop minding our business and step in? Especially as men and black women, our leadership has to level up. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
stood out to me. There was, and it's not to put blame, because the woman was in the wrong, the man was in the wrong, and I feel like the bystanders were in the wrong. We have a responsibility in our community. I feel like we come from a time where there was so much strength and there was so much power, and I feel like the majority of our people is coming off as like cowardly, or not having the courage at the right time. It's like when you have the courage, it's useless. Like in that moment, that could have been diffused. If the adults are not going to step in and diffuse it, I feel like I really wish that we as a community would intervene more, especially the men. Like you have to tell other men, like, yo, you wrong. You out of line. This somebody mama. This somebody daughter. You know what I mean? You're wrong. You're out of line. Like, what do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. I think that just I observed the same thing from watching the video. You see my initial reaction when all of the dialogue that's going back and forth. When once he started to threaten the woman, hey, on my grandma, if you don't such and such, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna knock you out. I'm expecting the men to begin to govern their
Mm-hmm.
community. I
Mm-hmm.
feel that is the men's job to protect the women first,
Mm-hmm.
number
Mm-hmm.
one. And so in that situation, she had been threatened. And
Mm-hmm.
so just like you, I expected for someone to intervene, at least say, hey, you know, calm down, or it's not worth it, or think, brother, or hey, change the subject, tell a funny joke, you know what I mean? Or if the guy was just
Anything.
showing that he was wanting to fight, then I feel like we need more men that's ready to die for our women,
Mhm.
to protect. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because this guy's he's threatening to knock her out. This is a strange person, you know. I would expect I feel like it was way more people, 5 or 6 people that could have took that one person. So I felt like
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
definitely failed. The mother, she was wrong.
Yeah. Mhm.
He was. I feel like everybody could have done something. I ain't gonna say wrong because it's hard to tell someone that they've done something wrong when you're in a situation like that.
Mhm.
Because I don't know her personal life, the things that she's been through, whether if she's used to being abused. I don't know anything about her. I'll just say that in that moment, I would have just expected more out of the people. I feel
Mhm.
like everyone could have made a better choice
Yeah.
to alleviate that situation. The mom, you could have made a choice that could have changed the outcome of that. The guy who lost his life, you could have made a different choice where you could still be hearing the physical. The bystanders, the person that was holding the cell phone that was recording,
Mhm.
um, you hold a responsibility in all of this as well. You could have made a different choice to diffuse the situation as well. I'm actually on the fence about that because the person who did record it, I guess that would have been the evidence to prove that the other
Mhm.
guy, so maybe they wouldn't have got off on self-defense. So I just feel
Yeah.
like, we have to do more thinking.
Yeah.
And sometimes minding your business can go wrong.
It can. I do still feel like, in that regard, I feel like what I did notice was like the aggression. I feel like in our community there is like a power struggle. And in that video, that's like immediately what I was thinking about. You have like a black man who is supposed to be respected as the leader. They are respected, to, once they say something to an extent. Not everything is, we're supposed to respect our men. Let's just be very clear. In this instance, the young man was not respectful, and the woman was not respectful. You had like a challenge. There was a power struggle going on that is very common in our households. That is very common, in relationships. We see it on social media all the time. I feel like there was a power struggle that was happening, and in the perfect world, as two adults, as two people, I feel like the woman definitely should have, backed down. I feel like the man should have backed down as well. But there was a clear power struggle. And I feel like as women, sometimes, we do have to take a step back, assess the situation, and understand that, every battle is not worth it. We can be aggressive, and it is not fair. It is a product of just our circumstances and not being protected and all these other things. Is still just not an excuse, because in this instance we have a child involved, right? We have a 14-year-old child who's with the mom. And so now, this child is, now put in a position to watch his mom, be in a physical altercation, and we know how that ended. And this is common in our communities. I just wish that
Very.
the man had enough, sense to back off. Like, this woman, I feel like men ultimately set the tone. And I wish that he would have chosen to just diffuse the situation, calm it down, go ahead and either leave, exit the situation, because the food is not going nowhere. And you are the man. Why even get on the level of the woman at the end of the day? And I know that's tough because you got words being thrown, you got, a challenge happening, and just right in these people's face. It's like, so I don't know. I feel like it's nothing that we can unpack in like a day, but I feel like there is a big power struggle in our community. And I feel like I wish the men there would have stepped up. I'm not even gonna say the women. I do wish the men did step up, and I do wish that in this case the woman kind of backed down and saw that, this man is serious. This man is hyper aggressive. It's not to justify his behavior, but it's to have it's just to have the the knowledge to just know that this ain't the time for that. You got your baby with you. I'm gonna just go ahead and leave up out of here before this man put his hands on me or whatever the case. I just wish, I wish she would have chose a different route and to just kind of step down again. We aren't in the situation, but I do know from past experiences when I wasn't quite at the place that I'm at now, aggression has never got me, what I wanted. Aggression has never been aggression. If you challenge a man is going to challenge you back. I don't feel like we as women need to be challenging men. I just feel like we have to let that go. And I personally had to learn that the hard way, you know what I mean, from life. No one necessarily taught me that, but it's like it is our fault. And then at the same time, it's conditioning too, because we come from a line of like seeing men and seeing their value and seeing their respect level when they're providing or when they're protecting. And then you have men, they're going through so many different things, and they need their respect, whether it's in a household, whether it's clearly out and about in a restaurant. You know what I mean? People really willing to die about it. And that comes from years of oppression. You get what I'm saying? So I just really feel like it boils down to like the aggression and the power struggle, which is very, very common in our community. And a lot of that needs to be undone. Like as women, we do have to kind of back down sometimes. It's okay to be quiet. I personally feel like as angry as that made me, who I am today, I probably would have just been like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I probably would leave as once he, made the comment like I'm a this and that. I probably would have backed up because I see this man is unhinged and he really don't mind doing whatever. I probably would have took my children out of that environment, and I would have chose to protect myself and forget my pride. I would have chose in that moment personally. I would have chose to back away because adding aggression to aggression is never going to give you a good outcome. You know what I mean? And we as Black women, we can't challenge men that way because not all of them are raised properly, and not all of them are going to, look at you as a mother and look at you as somebody's mother and sister and wife or whatever the case. They're going to look at you as an obstacle. And it's not justifying it, but he saw her as an obstacle and he tried to take her out. And thank God, she didn't pass. I hate that anybody had to lose life, but let's as women, we have to learn to just, if no one's there to protect us or back us up, we got to learn to just back up and get out the situation, because people are killing us and they're hurting us. And as we see, not a lot of people are coming to our defense either, because you was in a room full of all Black people and no one defended her. No one, right or wrong, no one decided this is just inappropriate. No one cared enough. No one got involved enough. It just makes me think about that show, like, What Would You Do? You remember when they used to do that? And like people used to have more courage. They used to have more boldness, not to the sense of putting yourself in danger, but simply like, this can't fly. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like we as a people, we misplace our courage sometimes. And I feel like that would have been a great instance to be like, right or wrong, it don't matter, bro. You need to chill out, and lady, you need to calm down. Because at the end of the day,
we need to have more of that.
We need to have more of that.
More of that. We need to have more accountability in our community. We need to govern our own community. That's an example of governing our own community.
That was an opportunity.
Like when we got into the no snitching, right? We got into the no snitching. We got into if it ain't my household, it ain't my kids. You know what I'm saying? Well, it ain't my man. It ain't my business. I feel like we've gotten to a place as a brown community where it's starting to do us way more harm than it is good. And so we have to, just like you said, we have to gain that courage and treat these children like our sons and our daughters, treat these elders like our mothers and our fathers, treat these brothers and sisters as what they are, our brothers and our sisters, and not look at them as our enemies, as our as an obstacle that you have to cross. Look at them as a bridge look at them as a stone that can help you to build. You know what I mean? Look at them as an opportunity to be able to shine light, to be able to gain knowledge, to be able to grow. It's too much. We need to do more talking. We need to do more expressing. Hey, this hurt my feelings. Hey, I didn't like this. Hey, I feel like um you should cover yourselves, or I feel like the way that you communicate with me could be a little softer. We need to do more
Mm-hmm.
as far
Yeah,
as holding each other
for
accountable,
sure.
especially when you know that someone is doing something that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we're all given discernment of right and wrong. We have to do more as a community. um
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Yeah, and I
uh yeah, go
you want to
ahead.
take a break? Well, I want to finish. I want to add to that, because I do feel like, um, as far as like minding your business, I feel like we kind of got away from like village, like the village mindset. You know what I mean? You remember there was a time where like you couldn't even do something wrong without somebody on your street or somebody being in your business. And that
That's
protected
right.
our community. Like I feel like we've really strayed away from like some of the things that really kept us in line and kept us, together as a community. That took bravery. Like for people to speak to you and correct you, knowing, you're not their child or you're not their relative, but they know your auntie or they know your grandma, and feel like they have a connection enough to where that they want to correct you in a moment, where you're doing something wrong. We've lost that. We've lost, the respect in the households. We are a younger generation, and I feel like we can really. That can be detrimental or it can be powerful. It's really just how we use it. We do have to bring like that level of respect back. We do have to bring back that level of respect, like hierarchy. Like, I feel like we kind of lost our way when we got to a point where,
Definitely.
when it got to like, oh, I'm grown now, I'm gonna say this because you this and you that. I'm 21 now, or I'm 30 now. I'm a grown woman. I can say what I want. We got out of touch with like that village mentality and that respect mentality. And just, it was a lot different. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot different when we had a village mentality and we weren't afraid to correct or put someone back in line when they were out of line, especially with love or with authority. You get what I'm saying? However it needs to
Mhm.
you have the discernment to determine which is needed in the situation. But I just wanted to say that, like, our humanity, like, it's just the climate we're in, and I just agree with what you were saying as far as like communicating and letting people know, like, you're hurting my feelings and things like that. I feel like we just have to work on our humanity again. And I would like to take a break because I see some great comments. Do you want to chime into those? You want to take a look at those real
Yeah,
quick?
I've been putting some of the comments on the chat. We've definitely had some great feedback.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Shout out to Mike, shout out to Sterling, he's checking in. Shout out to Kendra, one of our
Hey
favorite
everyone,
entrepreneurs out here.
boss lady.
One of the Kendra says, yeah, having kids most definitely makes her avoid a lot of situations. That's some good parenting right there.
Yeah.
Okay, because once we have children, we are not only living for ourselves and our pride and our ego, right? We got
Hmm.
other things to worry about, and that's our children. We got to make sure that they still have an opportunity to learn and be guided and protected by us. So if we're putting ourselves in certain situations that could cost
Hmm.
us our life or our freedom, that's not good parenting. That's not responsible parenting.
It's not. I
She
like
said,
that.
Kendra also says that she agrees with BB that you will never win trying to challenge a man, especially when it gets physical. And that's facts. I feel like it's in a man's DNA to fight. It's in a
Hmm.
man's DNA to defend. It's in a man's DNA to protect. And so that could be defending himself, protecting his ego. It could be fighting for his rights. So
Hmm.
definitely, I agree. And just from being a survivor of domestic violence, I still to this day know that there was responsibility that I could have had taken in a different route, that I could have chose to prevent my own situation, which is keeping my mouth closed or just walking away or doing so many other things to de-escalate that situation. So I appreciate you for your transparency, BB.
Hmm.
I want you
Hmm.
to know and others to know that she's not alone either. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
proud that I'm proud
Hmm.
of our growth.
Yeah, for sure. And just to elaborate on what she's saying, like from my perspective, um, And I believe you're right, Mo. Looking back, you do see things. So, just to be clear, we're definitely speaking from a place of when you know better, you do better. You know what I
Yeah, do
mean?
better.
You
Hello.
know, and the reality is, um, clearly the environment that these people come from have shaped them, but I feel like we also have a responsibility to just call out behavior that's not serving you. You know what I mean? So that's what I meant by, you know from the context of the video, that's what I meant by she never should have challenged him, because just being someone that has some type of emotional intelligence, just looking at the man's posture, just looking at his verbiage and his body language towards her, I wish she would have had enough wisdom to know that this is not a man that I want to challenge. This is a man that has
Right.
nothing to lose. This is a man that will try to take me down. And I feel like sometimes we can't see that, especially when you come from and you see that all around you. That's just like normal. But I feel like that man is probably dealing with some real demons. I feel like that rage is wasn't even really directed towards her. She just put herself in the line of fire. It did end up costing him his life, but it also made her son have to grow up way sooner than he needed to. It was just a very unfortunate situation. So sometimes we as women have to learn, to step back, and resist the challenge, because I really hope that um, everybody can kind of learn from that. It was really kind of disheartening to see everybody like making the jokes, and it was so funny. I'm like, our state as a people is so critical. Like I know everybody want to laugh to make everything lighthearted, but this is sad. This is very sad, and we're it's looking like things are reverting, and our people did a lot to get us away from that and get us out of that. And I feel like we're reverting, and we're kind of creating a climate where it make me a little concerned to my children to grow up in here, because I'm not raising them to be aggressive. You know what I mean? I'm not raising them for the climate and the environment that we got going on. But every I won't go any longer, but I do feel like we do have to learn when to pick our battle and when to back up. And I wish you would have just had wisdom in that moment. But you can't undo things. Just take heed, ladies. Before you get angry, think it through. Make sure it's calculated, and that the risk wasn't, the reward wasn't worth it. It was trauma for everybody involved. You know. Any more comments? Because I ain't even seen them. That was the main one.
Courtney said, yeah, that was pretty much the main one. And Kendra
Okay,
said that
gotcha.
she heard a lot of women say that. Let me go back to this comment. She said she heard a lot of
I
women
see
say
it.
that they don't know how to listen and be quiet. Um, I don't disagree.
Practice.
I definitely take heed to that. A lot of times I'm so strong and passionate, strong-minded and passionate about what I feel and what I think that I know, that sometimes it's hard for me to be quiet because I just want to speak my mind and
Mm-hmm.
stand my ground. But a lot of times, just I'm taking that advice as well. So you got to pick your battles,
You
calculated battles,
do.
calculated
Yeah.
risk out here. And sometimes everything doesn't need to be said. Sometimes just let time tell everything that needs to be said.
Yeah. I feel like it as far as like I personally struggle with that. Because silence, just being a black woman, just being a woman in general, I feel like sometimes our opinions are not respected. Sometimes what we think is not respected. Look at the climate. Like, people care about your body and how you look before they care about your mind. So sometimes it is hard to be silent, especially when you don't, you're in an environment that makes you feel like there's no value to what you say. And then a lot of times it's hard to be silent when you feel like you have to defend yourself, defend your honor, defend your respect. But just as I've grown, I've learned that you don't have to like respond and stay when people are disrespecting you. The best thing to do is really just remove yourself from the situation. And just I feel like the biggest thing is sometimes you feel like I feel like it's a battle internally, like you know you don't have to believe what people think of you or say to you or disrespect you. If you are better than that, you don't have to challenge that verbally. Sometimes your absence, you leaving someone alone to argue by themselves, sometimes that's more powerful, because I feel like that leaves people in a position where they got to be held accountable. You know what I mean? If you're arguing with someone and defending yourself, you kind of justify their behavior, the way they talk to you, when you kind of like get on their level. And I think if women understand that more, they can better maneuver those situations. You know what I mean? Just understand that you don't have to go back and forth with people. You can remove yourself from the situation. That's what I've learned. And it took a long time to learn that, and silence isn't always a weakness. It's actually a strength. It's actually a strength to not curse somebody out when they're calling you out of your name. That takes a lot of resolve, and it takes a lot of self-control, and emotional control. So we just have to look at it from a different perspective, and don't think quiet and being quiet in a moment where you could react is a form of weakness. That's how I've worked on that. Me being silent and not responding to you doesn't mean I'm weak. It means, I just care about my peace more than I care about responding to you. And that took a long time to get there, But very great question. We'll have to make another episode about that,
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on, because we are already 40 minutes into it, and we have some other topics that we want to get into. So we're going to go ahead and keep on moving. So you guys, the next topic that we got out of the video, which we've already kind of touched on, is the one who is suffering the most through all of this, the child. And so this proposed a question: should children be positioned to have to protect or support their parents? And why are some of the parents encouraging their teen sons to carry guns?
Yeah, that was a big issue.
It's a lot. I've been seeing it a lot. What you guys think? We got some people that are here with us. We are encouraging you to continue to engage. We're grateful for you guys. And the question we have up for the listeners: should children be positioned to have to protect or support their parents? What you guys think? And we also want to know, why are some parents encouraging their teenage sons to carry guns? Some of these young men haven't even reached teenageism yet, and they're toting guns.
For sure.
What's up with that? What's up with that? Why is there this the need to put weapons in your teenage son's hands? And why are some of these children being positioned to protect or support their parents?
Yeah.
What we saw on the video was the mom telling her son, shoot him. And what we have heard allegedly is the mom not only told her son to shoot her abuser, but then to finish him off, to end his life. And 3 things came up. Like, 1, what was a 14-year-old little boy even doing with a gun in the first place? 2, how did the mom allow, what was going on, because the mom knew that the little boy had a gun. What was the mental state of the mother to think that it was okay for her son to be carrying around a gun? And why, in the situation where she's going back and forth with another adult, did she call her child to protect her?
It's tough.
What do you guys think?
It's tough because, I feel like I definitely come from an environment where I just speak from my truth. I didn't come from a background or environment where I had to protect my parents or anything like that. That is some people's reality. I can relate to experiencing poverty and that making me grow up faster than I should have to. I can relate to seeing certain things where, just knowing things that I shouldn't know. We're struggling with bills or this and that. So that, in a way, I know how that can play into all of these situations, children having to go to work to help support their parents and things like that. I feel like it can be detrimental. But as far as like in this personal case, I feel like as a parent, we have a responsibility, and we have a responsibility to not put ourselves or our children in situations like that. Like the child should have never had to pull out a gun to protect the mom. I feel like the mom had a responsibility and a duty to get out of that situation for her and her child. That's just the reality of it. I, I don't, I just stand on that. I feel like she was in the wrong to put her child in that. And it's like, it as a we're not I get why our parents said they're not our friends. I get that. Because why does your child have a weapon at 14? He is not the man. And then on top of that, he is not your protector or your provider. That is an adult male's position. That's not a young male's position. So it really sucks because he is now, his life has changed. His life is altered because of this, because she did not choose to protect him. And this is common. It happens in our community all the time. It happens so much. No child should have to fight your battles. No child should have to rely on you for like emotional stability, like none of those things, financially, none of that. Oh, I see a comment. I don't think so, because that can put them in a life changing position. I also think that he was in survival mode. Okay. Oh, wait. I didn't know she told him to shoot. I didn't know that either, Kendra. That changed the entire perspective. So, Mo, can you elaborate on that more? Because I did not see that footage or know much about that take.
So like I said at the beginning, you guys be patient with me. You know how information and news can be translated. I'm not sure if there's anyone else on this live that has actually seen it or has been following the story, but from my perspective and my understanding, and please enlighten me if you have a different perspective and opinion. But allegedly the mom instructed the son to kill.
And I don't agree with that.
To kill, to take him out of here, shoot him, and we all know you don't use a gun unless you plan on killing.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So that is my understanding. And yeah, did you complete your thought and your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's
I feel the same way, you guys. I feel like I'm looking at the comments. We have Cam on here. I recommend everyone to be able to defend themselves if you are of age to carry. I also think that you should educate your kids about guns and gun safety at an early age. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with what he's saying. I do believe that we should all be able to defend ourselves, starting with the mother. The mom, you should have had the tools to be able to defend yourself and your son, which I've discussed. I feel in that public situation, in that public place with your child,
she was wrong.
The best thing that you could have done to defend yourself at that time was to get your child, get in the car and go somewhere else and get you something to eat. Because it was negative energy all over that hamburger or chicken or whatever.
Maybe it wasn't worth it.
Anyway.
Negative.
That's my opinion. It's easy saying what I should have done or what I could have done versus being in that situation. We don't know the words that transpired. We don't know the relationship between the woman and the man. I would just assume that they're strangers. They never met before. They could have a past relationship. We don't know. But in my opinion, this 14-year-old boy, he's carrying a gun. And the result of that, because he's living by a gun at 14, he feels the need to have one for whatever reason. At 14 years old, he has one. And in this situation, he was asked to use it. He was instructed to use it by his mother, by his advisor. And I think it was bad advice. And I feel sorry for the little boy. I don't think he should have ever been positioned to have to protect his mom.
I agree.
Not even himself. That's what his mom was for. I feel like, Mom, you failed. And then after mom failed, the community again, because there's a woman here with her 14-year-old child. There were elders there. There were male elders there who coulda, shoulda, in my opinion, stepped in. and they didn't, which resulted
Mhm.
in a 14-year-old losing his innocence in that moment.
Mhm.
And um and you know, we hear about them. They went to jail, they were released, the charges were dropped. But what about this man who lost his life? What about the family members?
Mhm.
We don't know the mental state of these family members, the type of people that they are. You know, it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't just end with the guy losing his life. The 14-year-old now
Mhm.
has to worry about other family members. Maybe the guy who he killed, his sons or his daughters or his brothers or nephews and things like that. Like,
Mhm.
this is something that's going to affect the child, this 14-year-old young man, for the rest of his life.
Mhm.
He is the victim.
For
And
sure.
I feel like his mom failed him. He shouldn't have been. Let's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I see a comment here. We're going to go to this comment where it says, um, moms, one should
Hey,
never
mommy.
put their sons in that position. That's
Nope.
right. And
Big
also,
facts.
that's super facts, right? We
Mhm.
have Mike here. Mike says that's correct. No teenager should not have a weapon way too young. If he was an
Mhm.
adult and has a carrying license and taught when to use it in those certain situations.
Yeah.
Basically, Mike saying is that, and Cam saying, yes, we do feel that as in the brown community, we do need to learn how to defend ourselves.
For
And
sure.
at a certain age, I do feel that we do need to teach the community needs to come together and teach the women and teach the
Mhm.
children and teach their brothers gun safety, um, how to carry, when you use it, when not to use it, gun safety and the gun laws from our community. We definitely need that. Age, maybe not necessarily a number. Maybe there's a certain level of maturity that is shown when you present these type of tools,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
to these children. BB.
No, I think I don't disagree. I feel like children should learn early. They're like, I believe in weapons. I do. My children know enough about them, but they never will have access, and that's the difference. My 14-year-old son will never have access. It just, to the best of my ability, it won't happen. I just feel like, like everyone said, I agree with the feedback. Very great feedback. Um, um, but there is a time and a place, and this just wasn't the time and the place. And I think it's important. And I would love to hear from the men, and like, I would love for more men to educate, because I talked to the leader, of my home. I'm like, I want to, know more, because I kind of let him deal with that. I don't deal with weapons. And I feel like, I just, it's just not my vibe, but I do feel like men should definitely talk to their children about it. Women too. I'm not opposed to women talking about it too, because sometimes we are the leaders of our household in that circle, in that situation. So just knowledge is everything. And just like with this whole situation, it's a tragedy, right? And all we can do from tragedy is learn from it. Nothing can be undone, but there are so many lessons that can be had and taken away from tragedies. And that's just basically what's being done here. We're just looking at it to like, okay, how can this not repeat? Because I feel like the
Yeah.
problem is with all the jokes online and everything, nothing is solution based. Nothing is, how do we prevent this from reoccurring? All the shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like, what do we do for the change? And I agree with what everybody said. Like, number one, it's time to educate our families and children on weapon and how to use it and when to use it. And I can 100% guarantee you that no 14-year-old should have to take anyone's life. I don't think that, no matter, no education, I feel like that was detrimental for him. I feel like, I do want to add, like you mentioned, generational curses. And I feel like people don't really understand generational curses they're not like voodoo words casted on you. They are states of mind. You understand? It is a state of mind. A generational curse is a state of mind. This mom state of mind is a curse. You get what I'm saying? And she's going to teach that and impart that onto her son. That is going to trickle down. That is going to continue. You get what I'm saying? So we just have to be very aware of our actions and, not live in that lifestyle or that mind state where we're like, I can do what I want because that's how I am and that's all I know. So I'm gonna pop off when somebody disrespect me. I'm gonna pop off. I'm gonna let them know. There's a consequence to that. So I just pray that the mom has a change of heart by this situation. I pray that the young man gets gets help, gets therapy because he is going to have trauma from this. I feel like the mom is going to have trauma from this. I feel like the young man that approached her has trauma. But we have to understand that generational curses are more than just words, and this is like how the cycle goes, like what's going on, everything that played into effect. It's just like generations of acting out of anger, not properly managing our anger, not even emotionally understanding half of the stuff we're feeling, you know what I mean, or how to constructively express that, you know what I mean. And also another thing that sucks about the brown community is like we can't back down our pride. Like to back down or choose to turn the other cheek, it's like it's frowned upon. There's no glory or honor in that, and that's so detrimental. Just like you mentioned earlier, like no snitching, minding your business is detrimental. I feel like that it's okay to take a loss, especially if it doesn't kill you. You know what I mean? It's okay to take a loss to your ego. That's okay. You know what I mean? And I just wish in this instance somebody would have just stepped away. But I see Kendra's comment on there, but that's all I have to say about that. That's all.
Cool. So let's get into some of the comments here. We got a lot that's coming through, and I want to make sure that we are engaging with the people that are engaging with us today.
I know, they
this is a very unique show. This is a very unique show, and I appreciate you guys, and we want to make sure that we are engaging with you. Kendra, so I have Kendra Washington's post up right here, and it says that I've been in positions where I've had to protect both me and my mom. And you know what, Kendra? Wow. I think that 60% of brown community at least have felt like they have been in situations where they felt like they had to protect their parents, whether or not it was a situation where we were needed to, but I can't relate where I have felt like I've needed to protect one or both of my parents before. So I definitely understand. And I agree. There are going to be some unique times. I mean, we see it all the time over the news. There are so many times where we see that the children have had to come to the defense of the parents. And that is super unfortunate. My heart goes out to you. It super sucks. You should have never been in a position where you feel like you've had to protect not only yourself, but you're a parent as well. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sending you a big old air hug right now. But you're not alone. And so we as the brown community can do a lot better by just being aware of how we solve problems in front of our children as well. How we solve challenges, how we solve disagreements and disappointments in front of our children, because we have to be aware of how they're feeling, and we don't want to ever put them in situations where they feel like they have to choose sides or protect one side or the other. We have to do better at that as a brown community. So Kendra, I just thank you for being transparent and sharing that with us. You are not the only one, sister girl, but hopefully you'll be the last. We can only hope.
That's right.
So we do have some comments here. I'm just going through. Also, Cam says, also in most households, boys are taught by their dads to protect their moms at all costs. If they see their mother harmed in any way, especially physical. Oh, so he's saying that, yeah, most boys are taught, like, if you see your mom in a situation where she's not being protected, I don't even care if it's me. You beat me, you take me on. I've heard it.
I know.
There are guys that are raised to replace the father, but like you're saying, they're being raised by their dads. They're being taught by the protectors to be protectors. So that is a great perspective, and a great point of
It
view.
is.
That is true. And I'm not against that. You know, teach your sons to be protective, but also teach them coping skills. Teach them how to fight, but also teach them how to communicate, or walk away. You know, teach them that it's okay to fight, but it's just as equally okay to say, you know what, you got it, bruh. You got it. It's cool. I want no problem. And you still be a man. You still be respected. You still respect yourself. You don't feel like anything was taken away from you. That's a great point of view. Yes, we definitely need to learn gun safety out here. We need to, another comment says, please educate your children if you need to have a gun. Yes, yes. If you know, because like I said, every situation is unique. Every household is unique. And you could be in a situation or an environment where you may need to teach your son about some gun safety before he turns 18 years old. You know, but make sure that you are teaching him, just like we say, safety, when to use it, why you're using it. And it's not the first option, right?
That's the one.
You know, it's not the first option. Mike, we got in the comments. Also, I think once the argument got heated, the mom should have took her son and walked away from the situation, and that would have de-escalated. We agree with you, Mike. We stand and agree with you. We feel like this, we hope and feel and hope that if she just would have grabbed her baby, been like, let's go on down here to the Popeyes around the corner, you may not be here with this hot topic today. So we definitely agree with you. Wow, these were some really, really good comments, you guys, and we are grateful. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's get into it, Brown community. Today's hot topic today, you guys, we are exposing the skeletons in the closet. We are breaking the silence, and we are letting it be known that brown people, not only are we the problem, but we are the solution. So we are shining some light on some of these dark things and some of these skeletons in our closet so that we can have awareness, that we can take accountability, and that we can make some changes for today and for tomorrow and the generations to come. Let's start healing today so that we can show love tomorrow. So let's get into it. The third topic is, why do we glorify and glamorize trauma and drama? What's up with that? Why do we feel the need to glamorize and glorify trauma and drama?
It's a tough one.
There's so many good things that go on in our brown community every single day. There are brown people that are doing big things, that are accomplishing major goals every day, but we do not see that. We don't see that spread all over the news, spread all over the shade. The shade room wouldn't even be the shade room if it weren't for brown people. Glorifying and glamorizing trauma and drama. There would not be a world star if we didn't have brown people out here glamorizing and glorifying trauma and drama. Do you see the numbers? You see the numbers on the World Star page? Do you see the numbers in the Shade Room page? In the Tea Room? Huh? It's all negative stuff that's bringing the brown community down. It's diminishing us as a whole. We are resilient people. We are intelligent people. We are humble people, but the things that we are projecting in the world and the music in our day-to-day life, on the feeds, on our social media, the ticks on our talks, it's just glamorizing trauma and drama. Why do we do that, y'all? What's up with that? Let's drop your opinions in the comments right now, you guys. Why do you think that we as a brown community tend to glorify and glamorize trauma and drama?
That is a question that needs
that slave shit. I'm gonna just say that. That's that slave shit, y'all. We're not in physical chains anymore. We're in mental chains. We are living in slavery. In slavery is when you are a slave or a prisoner to your mind. You're a prisoner to the way that you think, the way you
Mhm.
feel about yourself, the things that you have absorbed,
Mhm.
your look on life. What's wrong with that, guys?
I don't know. I just know it makes me think about how in this situation, we move past we have a loss of life, right? It's just what we got to pull from. I was so shocked to see. I was so shocked to see the funeral, the the shirts.
Girl,
I was so
girl.
shocked to see people literally like I understand that that is a name or that is a slogan or what nickname that he got before this incident. But let me tell you something. From what I gather, this man was not a professional boxer. So the fact that he's gotten away with, being called a what was it? I might misquote it. A knockout,
I feel. Do y'all remember? Was it the Knockout King or something like
Mr.
that?
Knockout.
Knockout. I think it was Mr. Knockout or Knockout King or something. Something in reference to him
It's just
KOing people.
it's just
Okay.
uncorrected. It's glamorized. It's just uncorrected. I just can't believe. I can't believe. You know why I can believe? Because like just from a religious standpoint, right? The Bible says that we're gonna die by our works. Like if you live by the sword, what you gonna do? Die by the
Die by
sword.
the sword.
If you live by the gun, what you gonna do?
You're gonna die
Die
by the
by the
gun.
gun. If you live by the streets, you're gonna die by the
You're gonna
streets.
die by
That's
them
just
streets.
beyond biblical. That's just prophecy. That's just self prophecy. You're gonna, you. So I say this: if he got to go through his whole life just reacting off rage, fighting anybody that would challenge him, putting his hands on anybody that would come his way, just beating down all of his issues physically. It's take heed. I'm not surprised. It's very unfortunate, but I'm not surprised that it ended the way it did. His community let him down. His family let him down. And, the elders, his OGs, whatever you want to call it, they let him down because there is no way that this man should have I don't know, should have just got violence, gets more violence. There's no way he should have gone this far in life and no one saw that that was a problem. No one saw that like, okay, he might need help. He's fighting all of his battles one way. We all know there's so
Yeah.
many different ways to skin a cat. There's so many ways to fight your battles. And this man only knows one way. You get what I'm saying? Why did no one intervene? Why did no one say, let's get him some therapy? Let's actually let him do something constructive. Let's get him off of the streets. If you're gonna be the knockout king, at least do so. You can fight legally. You get what I'm saying? Just no direction, no accountability, and no guidance. Again, generational curses. Because what in the world, that it's just not cute. It's not cute. I don't have nothing to say about that because that blew me.
I understand, honey. I think we as a collective feel the same way. We're just equally frustrated and we're equally perplexed. Like, why? What happened? The what was the first disappointment? You just get a lot of disappointment from this guy. Like you say, he's filled with rage. He's
Girl.
walking trauma. You know what I mean? That's all you
Walking.
getting from that. And it just goes back to the first topic of too much
Minding.
minding your business.
Mhm,
His
mhm,
family should have been, like you said, stepping in, intervening. Hey, what's
mhm,
going on? Let's get you some help. And if this is something where you're having a mental disability where you cannot control yourself, then it was your family's responsibility to make sure that you weren't a threat to society because your family seen what you were capable of doing firsthand before you
mhm,
made it to the public. You
mhm,
know what I mean? Just like you said, therapy, accountability, some type of intervention, um, some type of professional help.
mhm,
But from my observation, like I would agree that the family didn't do their due diligence. They
mhm.
didn't do their part to help him out. And unfortunately, this was the outcome. As far as
Yeah.
the funeral goes, I seen footage of the funeral, his casket. You have a picture of him holding a bunch of money. Then you see girls, they're lined up, and on the top of their spray painted
And
shirts,
they
you
were
got the
twerking.
Knockout King or the Knockout or something like that. And it's just like
Girl.
the level
I'm
of
not
ratchetness, I can't even wrap my head around it. It's like, what is it for clout? Is it like what? What has it come to? What have we come to, people? We just so ignorant. We got to do better. We
we
got to do better.
do.
Like, what if that was? Yeah,
I
we just got to do better.
we do.
Yeah. So
And as far as like
glamorizing and
mm,
mm-hmm.
as
Go
far I
ahead.
wanted to touch on, you mentioned like, no one intervened, like when he was angry and fighting, no one stepped in. I feel like it is because there's this thing called emotional intelligence. It's almost more important than IQ. You understand? In our community, we have we have a lot of growing to do, especially emotionally. Like I even noticed for like my own son, like if he gets angry, I notice like, he'll huff and puff and want to, he got to release it. He want to do something with it. And I talked to him. I said, okay, you're mad, right? I talk him through it. I talk him through his anger. I let him know, okay, what you feel is valid. And I learned this in therapy. What you feel is valid, but anger can be constructive or it can be destructive. And I said, so are you going to break your things that I paid for because you mad, or are you going to walk it off? And then sometimes I talk to him even further. Then it's like, he ain't even really mad. He got another emotion going on. You know what I mean? He could be frustrated or sad. There's a range, and sometimes when you're a young person and you're growing, you're experiencing all these emotions and you don't know what to do with them. You don't know where to place them. Sometimes you don't even recognize them. And that's feel like, as Black women, Black men, I think we have to start exploring like emotional intelligence, like understanding, there's things I can work on. My anger, I was angry, I grew up angry, I still get angry, I pop off, you know what I mean? But just understanding and learning our emotions more, and participating in different avenues to release it, because a lot of us are walking around and we're time bombs. That's just the bottom line. We're time bombs. We have all these built up emotions and everything, and put it like this: your anger doesn't have to be used to destroy, and that's just my point. And I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I even intervene when I see certain things like that in my children, because I'm like, okay, I know why they're mad, but I want to know, do they know why they're mad? You know what I mean? Like, walk yourself through it, talk yourself through it. And I'm just glad that I have that insight, and I've took and done some work on myself to be able to give that to them, because our Black men are angry. They have a right to be angry, and there's so much things around that contribute to that anger. But I just want us to, as a people, start learning about emotional intelligence. Start challenging yourself. See where you challenge yourself to grow. You know what I mean? I just wanted to add
Absolutely.
that.
No, I
And
think
that's
that was a great point for
mhm,
sure. That's definitely needed. I feel like
mhm,
just growing up in the brown community, a lot of us, especially the guys, they're not tapped into their emotions when they're an adult. They feel like it's a weakness to be vulnerable. It's a
mhm,
weakness to show that you're tired, or that you're sad, or that you feeling anything. Like it's almost a norm in the culture for the brown community
mhm.
for men to be nothing but strong, be nothing but resilient, be nothing but powerful, be nothing but a.
Uh-oh, it went away. But I agree with what Trin was saying. We'll give her a minute to get back. And also, I also feel that sometimes in households, or just sometimes in general, I feel like our men are most comfortable in the brown community expressing anger. Like that's the most comfortable emotion that men can express. Even like in the video, he was absolutely filled with anger, and that's the one, like, it's a lot of strength to the in the male psyche that can resemble strength. And that's not generalized statement, but on average, most men are okay with expressing anger. They kind of struggle sometimes to express sadness, or a lack of confidence, or they try to avoid those more raw, vulnerable emotions. And Trin is coming back. We'll just wait on her. She's coming. We see you, girl. But yeah, her point, I love her point. I just hope that our community in general can, explore, emotional intelligence a little bit more. And so I'm gonna catch up on the comments while we wait on Mo. So we have, let's see, we have, I wouldn't be surprised if he was, hey, boo. Welcome back. So I just, do you want to finish your thought or you want to keep moving along? Can you hear me? You can? I was just basically saying, to piggyback off what you said, I was just saying.
Okay, sorry about that, you guys. Yeah. My computer, you know how that goes when yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. So I'll let you finish your thought, then we'll move on to the comments since you're back. Oh no, where did she go again, y'all? This show too good for it to go like this. You back? Now it's okay. We rocking with it. Thank y'all for y'all patience. Thank y'all for your patience.
Okay,
they rocking with
it.
What
I wanted to continue to say was,
you were saying that I can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you just fine. Just keep going. Keep going. We can hear you. We can hear you.
It's lagging on my end, but I'm gonna continue to try to persevere. Some of the men, in my opinion, are raised to be emotionless, are not raised to be in tune with their feelings. So I think that we need to encourage our men as a whole, especially when they're younger, and our young women as well, that just like you were saying, that it's okay to have these negative emotions, to have these, but how do you get through them? How do we work through them? Acknowledge it. Is it something that it's echoing on my end? So that's why I don't on my end and my ears, it's echoing back. So I had to take the earphones off so that I'm able to hear myself. Okay. Y'all know how the enemy do when we're doing something positive. We ain't even gonna,
that's right.
We're not even sweating it. But yeah, guys, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have these negative emotions, but we do need to get a tool bag. We need to learn how to pull out different tools to be able to get through these emotions, to get past these emotions, to work through these emotions. Tools meaning take the walk, like you were saying, or breathe, exercise, drink some water, count from 100. You know what I mean? Do your ABCs backwards. But we do need to express to the men. I'm getting distracted, y'all. BB, take it over till I get my audio together.
Okay, no worries.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank y'all for y'all patience. A little hiccup. The enemy is busy, honey. We trying to shed some light on some things. But my co-host, if I know her like I think I know her, I think she was just trying to just basically say that men are more comfortable expressing, a lot of range of emotions, but I mean, not a lot of range of emotions, but we as a community, the women, we need the men to, get comfortable expressing more emotions. And then from there, teach your sons and, teach your daughters, how to navigate things emotionally. Can you hear me good? Okay, perfect. But yeah. So I was going to say, I do want to jump over to the comments because y'all are checking in. I think this is a great moment to pivot and go over to the feedback that you guys are giving us. So I see a comment that says, I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to go viral by hitting the woman like that. He's obviously been getting away with it for him to have that nickname. And I agree with that. I feel that... I hate that it ended in death. I would much rather, people be held accountable and, be able to self-correct, because I do feel like everybody deserves grace. That's just my heart and how I lean. But I feel, and I do wish that he could have just been held accountable, because that's what he was lacking up until this point. And his family and his loved ones not holding him accountable ended up being his demise, because he was clearly never apprehended enough to keep him off the streets till he worked through it. He didn't get any help from the system, which sucks, and he definitely didn't get any help from his family.
No. I definitely think his mother and his father, or whoever his maybe his grandmother, whoever he was raised by, should have definitely taught him, like you were saying, emotional intelligence. I think that was spot on. I think we need to continue to do that as a brown community. Talk about our feelings, discuss our feelings. Our feelings are real. Our feelings are valid. But sometimes, just like Vivi was saying, anger doesn't necessarily, what we think is anger, it could be frustration. It could be something that's rooted from a whole nother feeling. So as a brown community, let's do more engaging and spending time with our emotions, so that when we are in the public, when we are in certain situations where we face adversity, that it isn't shocking to us. It isn't, what do they call it? Fright and flight.
Yeah, flight or fight or flight.
Fight or flight, right? So, just spending those times, we're saying, you know what, I am upset right now, but it's okay. This is temporary. I am uncomfortable right now. I am sad right now. I am frustrated right now, but this is only temporary. And what can I do? What am I in control of right now to be able to make sure that I'm able to enjoy the rest of my day, to get past this emotion to where it doesn't affect me for the rest of my life, or affect the people that I love for the rest of our life, right? Because we've seen that so many times where in one split second that we tap into one emotion, one temporary emotion, we tap into it, we spend too much time in it, we don't know what to do with that energy, we don't know what to do with that emotion, and we end up making choices that some of us are paying for to this day, and I can even relate to that. So yes, and we have to, as a brown community, I think while we're talking about glorifying and glamorizing trauma, we as a brown community, we need to stray away from that. If it's anything that is going to make the brown community look bad, is going to tear us down, tear your brother down, tear your mama down, tear your sister down, the community down, we need to stray away from it. For example, the submarine, the unfortunate events that happened with the people who lost their lives on the submarine. It wasn't even 24 hours. People were making memes, people were making music videos, and at the demise of the people in the families who lost their lives, it could have been your uncle, could have been your brother, and so it's just unfortunate how we tend to use situations that people really hurt people, even the trips where girls were gone overseas and lost her life, you know what I mean, with the unfortunate situation where she thought she was going out of town with her friends and she ended up losing her life. What do we do as a brown community? We make jokes about it, you know what I mean? We try to make light of things that are really serious that are going on in our community, and if we do more talking about it, about the things that do need to change and do something about it, I think that we would be better off.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that. Before we move on, I do want to touch on, you mentioned fight or flight. You know what I learned in therapy, and I feel like we witness all of this in that video. There's actually more than fight or flight. There's fight, flight, and freeze.
Yes.
Some people freeze, some people leave, and some people fight. And I just thought that was interesting that you mentioned that. And I was like, oh, I learned that, through therapy, because I never thought about that, because sometimes life challenges make us freeze. And that's a common response. So
yeah, for sure. Different situations. I've, for example, certain situations I froze. I've been at parties and parties gone good, and at the end of the night, gunshots are going off. You know what I mean? You see some people that are running for the cars, running for the hills. You got some people that are like deer in the headlights, don't really know what to do because their body, you freeze, you're frozen. And then you have others who, shoot back. You know
That's
what I mean?
Right.
You have that, and yeah. But if we do more at a community, like you were saying, if you are going to be carrying guns, if you're young adults, if your teenagers are going to be carrying guns, ask yourself why. What is the need for it? What is the purpose for it? Is it a purpose for it right now in that time? And if it is, educate on the gun safety, educate on gun laws, educate on
Mm-hmm.
when and why you're pulling it out and when to use it and when not to use it. But
Mm-hmm.
tap into all those emotional aspects first, into those
Mm-hmm.
mental aspects first. And I think everyone that gets their carry, this is on another subject though. I think
It's
people who
okay.
are
It
going
might
to
be
get their
relevant.
concealed license or have weapons or register weapons, I think that they should all have to go through some type of mental evaluation in
Mm-hmm.
order for you to even be able to buy a firearm. There should
Mm-hmm.
be some type of test or mental. They have all kind of quizzes out here. There should be some type of
I agree.
something
Mm-hmm.
where the mental state is determined before you're just giving a
Right.
firearm. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's on a whole nother tangent.
Yeah. And now, I know we're moving on. I just do want to add, like, you mentioned children having guns. That's very common. It happens around in my city. I'm sure it happens in yours.
For
We
sure.
have to get away from it's no longer okay to, ignorance is not bliss. It's no longer okay and it's no longer satisfactory because tragedies keep showing us that the kids are exposed to it. The kids do have access to it. It's time to get in our children's business. There is no reason that you don't know. Check the book bags. Check. It's just no longer acceptable. We know everything that's going on social media. We know who celebrities are sleeping with. But you mean to tell me you don't know what's in your children's backpack? I'm all in my kids' business. You can't even lock your door. So I feel like as a community, as a brown community, let's get back in our children's business. Let's get back into guiding them. Let's get back into rearing them, being hard on them when we need to and soft when we need to. But it's no longer acceptable to be like, I didn't know. And shame on you if you do know and you allow it.
For
And
sure.
that's just how I feel about that. And
I agree with you. I
yeah.
definitely agree. I definitely agree. Stay in your kids' business. I think we as parents, we need to step back into our places, which is parenthood. Our children, if your children don't like you at least once a month, then you're not parenting correctly. Okay. We are not here to be our parent. I'm just joking. But
No.
we are not here to be our children's friends. We are here because the Most High has trusted us to guide them, advise them, to rear them, to raise them, to be independent. We are raising them to be the best version of themselves, to be better versions than us. So
for sure.
Giving them the things that we didn't necessarily get, give them the things that our ancestors didn't necessarily get, so that they could be good for this generation and the ones to come after us. And the one thing that I'm noticing right now are the elders not giving the knowledge. The elders have stopped giving the knowledge. We are the new OGs. We have a responsibility now. We need to shift into our place. We are not the baby G's anymore. We are transitioning to the OGs. So now we have a responsibility to the youth. And youth, I encourage you guys to be courageous. And there's a lot of peer pressure and there's a lot of things in social media, and the times that we're living in right now are super, super hard. But I encourage you to be firm and being an individual, be firm and being a leader and lead your generation and lead your peers to make the right choices, to do the right thing, and have that courage to just know the Most High is going to back you on that. Everybody in the community has a responsibility to each other. And
that's
we need
true.
to step into that. We need to step into that.
I love that.
So moving along, we have two more topics that we want to discuss. Good grief. We did say today is a very unique episode.
Hey, and we're going to let it ride.
And we're going to continue to let it flow. We are grateful for everyone who's taking the time. We know that it's getting late. Guys, make sure that you come back and finish listening later on tomorrow during your lunch break, or while you're working from home, or you're cooking for your dinner, or you're riding in your car, whatever. We're just grateful for you. The next point that we have is, why don't we, as brown people, tear down the system the same way we tear down each other?
Baby.
Okay? Why don't we as brown people tear down the system the same way we tear down each other? What do we mean?
About.
Okay, we will get together to jump Judy We will get together to stomp Sam. We will come up with a plan to rob Robin, right? To set up, to tear down, to put in the shade room. We'll all come together for all the negative things. But why don't we come together to tear down the same system that was created to have us in the same very mindset that we're in now? What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, our rage is misplaced. Our anger is misdirected. You know, our hate is misdirected. And at the end of the day, you know, for me, I feel like the aggression, if we say that all emotions have a place and all, you know, reactions or whatever, what have you, if we say, okay, sometimes aggression is needed. Okay, like, and for instance, in this video, I feel that in this case, okay, we have this energy, we have this, you know, young black male who is showing, you know, behavior towards, you know, a woman who should, in the perfect world, they should be defending and respecting. But we have instances where things are, number one, we have instances where people are coming in our community acting a fool, tearing shit up, you know, breaking up homes, you know, and doing all these types of things. And the reality is we're doing that to each other. Where is that? When are we going to redirect the energy? How about we not fight against each other? How about we not beat down the women, and women, how about we not beat down the men verbally, physically, tearing up the things they work hard for? And the list goes on, because once we know better, we do better. But why don't we as a collective use that aggression and that force to any real opposition? And the real opposition is not another person that looks like you or looks like me, and it's definitely not, your op was not in that store, the restaurant. We were not ops. The woman, the man, they were not ops. You know what I mean? So my point is, if we're going to have that type of rage and be known for that type of rage, it needs to be instrumental to our change and our progress. And it needs to be instrumental to, you know, breaking a system that has oppressed us. We're fighting the wrong fights. We're beating down the wrong people, if we're being clear. And this is not to incite rage. This is just to simply say, before I attack a man or go out my way to attack a man, I'd rather, you know, stand up for somebody when I see something going wrong. I'd rather us pull up in numbers and de-escalate situations. If we use our rage for the right things, like the Floyd Mayweathers, all these different things, if we use our rage properly and not against each other, that wouldn't happen. You understand? That like rest these people's souls, that wouldn't happen, because as a collective, we would have said, this is wrong. You're not doing it. And you can't kill everybody. Now, can you? You get what I'm saying? So yeah. The rage is misplaced. And that's what I feel. That's my piece on it. The energy is not bad when it's used properly, but it's just being used to be destructive. It needs to only come out when there is an offense.
Literally.
And not an offense from someone that looks like you. You need to save that energy from an offense of an enemy. You know what I mean? And that can be, we know what the enemy is looking like out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the enemy is not brown people against brown people. The enemy, just like we were saying, is the system. There is a lot of energy, good energy, you know, angry, you're fed up, you're tired. There's a lot of great energy that our young and our wise brown men could be using to fight against the very system that was created against us. And just for our youth, for example, we got these teenagers out here who are toting guns. We got these, and you know, on the other side of the coin, you know, I'm sitting back like, okay, these young Negroes got heart.
They do, but yeah,
these young brown people got heart. They don't care what the OGs got to say. They don't care what the parent. They ready to fight the police. They ready to go against everybody.
They're a little different.
They're not using that energy and that passion for the right thing.
That's right.
You know, they're ready for war. They're equipped for war. They're equipped to fight this war, but they are not being guided, they are not being led, and they're not being educated on ways to use that energy for us to be better as a brown community for tomorrow and the future to come. So I think we definitely we have to do better with that. The heart is, I think we're definitely in the time now, in the era where we could take all of these, we could take things from the OGs, we could take things from our generation, we could take things from the youth, and we really have an opportunity to come together and do some really great, powerful things to change the world right now. We could stop participating in a lot of things right now, just the brown people. If only the brown people stop participating in certain things, the glorification of trauma, the glamorization of drama, if we just stop participating in that in itself, the world would already shift as we know it. You know what I mean? But for some reason, which we could get back to that in slavery, that mental mindset of we adapt the stuff when we were called niggers, you know what I mean? We kind of adapted it, we made light of it, and it made it something to where it wasn't so hurtful and it wasn't so harmful to us, right? Because we've made light of it. But I think we have to stop doing that. And we need to stand firm and stop participating in things that are derogatory and that tear us down. You know, stop being a part of it. And that will help.
Yeah. And also, if we are going to police ourselves and govern ourselves, we have to really undo some things, because we really have to change our mentality about one another. We have to build our love and respect for one another. We have to get back to the mentality of, you know, being our brother and sisters keepers. We have to get back aligned with that principle. We need principles. You know what I mean? There needs to be, you know, right and wrong needs to be very clear lines of right and wrong. There needs to be accountability. And, you know, like, there's going to be a code. We just have to follow a code that is literally going to empower us and uplift us and make us stronger. And again, the history shows us that we're not even aggressive people. You get what I'm saying? We're not even aggressive people. We do need to get back to that nature, but keep all the new things that we've learned. Like, we've learned, okay, we can stand up for ourselves when we're being oppressed. We can push back when we're being pushed. But the bottom line and the main thing is, we still need to get back to that peace and that inner peace and that community and that, you know, sisterhood and brotherhood, but only bring up defense tactics when we need to, not just amongst our people. You know what I mean? We don't turn our guns and our anger and our hands to our people. That's the bottom line. It's like, so that's what I want to clear up when I say, you know, we need to put that energy in, and if we're going to use aggression and tap into that, it needs to be directed to the proper, you know, thing that's, you know, coming against us, you know. So that's what I mean. Like, we need to get back to our peace, you know, like community, you know. There's so many things. It's just so many things. We'll never get to it in this episode, but it's just like, oh, we just need to keep having dialogue like this. But I love what you said. We just have to redirect the energy and build each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
yeah, definitely.
Very good topic.
You have to take the trauma from the past generations, take your ancestors' trauma, and take the drama from your mama, and take the disappointments from your mom and your dad and your family members and your life experiences, and spend some time in those feelings, and then redirect those and create something to where, like I said, the generations now and the generations after don't necessarily have to experience this struggle, because you're the change. And that comes with taking accountability, you know what I mean? Accepting things, accepting that these negative emotions, they're only temporary, you know what I mean? And it's not the end of the world. Finding ways to be able to cope with our emotions and get through them.
Yeah, I like that.
So, you know, the last thing we wanted to talk about tonight is revealing and rebuilding. We appreciate you guys for joining us today. I you know me, I like to show a spirit of gratitude no matter what's going on. And so you'll hear me say this all the time, just how grateful I am for you guys, how grateful I am for my co-hosts, how grateful I am for my life, for the air that's in my lungs. And with that being said, We come to you guys each and every Monday around 9:30 with a hot topic. Today's hot topic was super sensitive, super focused, and we're speaking to a collective people, a group of people, and that is the brown people, or if you identify as Black. We talking to you, Jack, and we are breaking the silence tonight, and we are letting it be known that brown people, Black people, not only are you the problem, but you're the solution as well. And so we have talked about some things tonight as far as the brown community minding their business. And we talked about children being positioned to have to protect and support their parents. We talked about the fact that we as a brown community glamorize and glorify trauma and drama. And we also asked the question and discussed today the fact that why do we as a brown people not come together to tear down the system the same way that we tear down each other? So we have talked about these things today, and we're just grateful for you guys, and we just want to extend the hand as brown women in the community who love our brown men, who uplift our brown men, who want to continue to encourage our brown men. We want to say that we love you, and that we want us to be able to come together, to be able to govern ourselves, to be able to deal with our mental health, to be able to deal with our emotions, tap into our emotions, to be able to walk away, to de-escalate, or to be able to solve problems where it doesn't cost you your life, it doesn't cost you your freedom, and it doesn't cost you your innocence. We have a young man who lost his innocence, almost lost his freedom, could have lost his mom, but another guy has lost his life due to the brown community failing him. We can't even say the system failed him. We failed him. We failed him as a brown community today. Sure. And so we want to do better. We got to do better, you guys. So the last topic that we wanted to touch on today is revealing and rebuilding. Where do we go from here as a brown community, you guys? Where do we go from here? Well, if you've been paying attention, we've already talked about a few things. Number one, what BB and I have been talking about since episode 1, mental health. Where do we go from here as a brown community? We do something about your mental health. Brown men, Black men, brown men. We encourage you to get therapy. You do not necessarily have to have what you identify as trauma going on, and even drama going on. It is still healthy. It is still healthy, and we encourage you to talk to someone. Just talk to a therapist. Just set an appointment, set a couple appointments up, and just talk to them. You don't know how this could help you. You don't know how this could strengthen you. This could strengthen you as a man, a father, as a son, a husband, as an entrepreneur, a businessman, as a professional. I cannot express to you how important it is for our brown men to be able to talk to someone, be transparent, be realistic, and be open, and be able to receive professional, healthy feedback to help you guys to be able to cope and maneuver through life. Brown men, we know that the world is already set up against you just because you're brown, just because of the color of your skin. So there are people who are trained, there are people who are passionate, there are people who love what they do. They wake up every day on fire for what they do, because they are passionate about your mental health. They're passionate about you being able to pull tools out your bag so you'll be able to maneuver to be the best brown man that you could possibly be. So that is my first what can we say? My first opinion on where we can go to be a better community as brown people.
Yeah, getting help mentally. I like that. It's like Trent said, find different outlets. We do know that therapy is great because it's going to allow you to tap into the emotions and the things that you're dealing with and give you a way to process it. Then there's other outlets. I also want to speak to, you did beautifully speaking to the men. I also want to speak to our brown women. We definitely need to do the same thing. Me and Trent, we talk about mental health on the show so much, and I think as a community, we also need to understand and radically accept the current condition and the current state that our community is in. We can't be in denial about it. We can't turn a blind eye to it. We can't look at the community and be like, oh, well, that's not all Black people. They don't got to do it with me. It does to have something to do with you. You are the only person. People that look like us, people that look like you and I, we're the only people that can make a change, because we identify with, we understand, and we can identify with other brown people. So 9 times out of 10, their help is going to come from people that look like us. We just have to change the narrative, change the dialogue, change our thought process. You understand? We have to radically accept that the state that our community is in right now, the percentage, the collective that's doing well and changing their thought process, we have to increase that number. We can't leave our fellow people behind. We can't leave our, friends and loved ones and family behind. Like, be done with them. We can't. It's costing us too much. You know what I mean? So we have to get that mentality back. We are our brother's keepers. We are our sister keepers. We need to get back to that village mindset, and we can't deny anymore that we as a people are the problem. But the beautiful thing, the flip side of that, is we're also the solution. And I want us to focus on that. We are the solution. That is the main takeaway from this whole episode. We are the cure. We are the fix. Our unity, our success as a community, it relies on it. Us coming together, our togetherness, our unity, yeah, just like radically accepting that and being willing to change. I also feel like we're bold. We're a bold people. We're brave people. We are an outspoken people. We are a righteous people, and we have to be bold again. I don't know if we got to pray for faith. I don't know. For me, that's tapping into spirituality, getting my boldness back. Taking back my voice. And everything. We have to be bold again. I feel like we've become too meek. We've become too, just silent. And when we do have something to say, it's so useless and pointless. Like, look at the dialogue. All you hear on podcasts is men against women and stuff that does not even matter. Like, our voices, our platforms, they're not being used anymore to rebuild. We can tap into the whole world. We can tap into so many people just by the touch of a button. So let's use our platforms. Let's use our voices to uplift and come together. And we're not here to like change and persuade, but we are here for people who are like-minded and people who are on the same mission and have the same passion. You know what I mean? I don't know, we have to be bold. We have to be bold and brave and, vocal and aware of what we're putting out into the universe and putting out into the world. We're all examples, whether we want to be examples or not. We're all examples. Someone is looking up to us that we don't even know. And most importantly, if you're a parent out here, your children are, so that's all.
I think that's right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Regardless, if you're a male, you are a mother figure. Excuse me. If you're a female, you are a mother figure. If you are a male, you are a father figure. You're an auntie or an uncle in your community by default. If you come in a room or you are around a child, you are that mother or father figure at that time. And I think that is the attitude that we need to take back on as a community. That's that community raising the community, that old school ways of having that fear of, hey, I better not do this because the neighbor is watching me and she gonna tell my mama, so that's the sense of the community coming together and raising it. So that was a very, very good point. It's the fact that you don't have to have any children, but you are still a figure. You are still affecting the things that you do, still affect children in the way that they think and the way that they are shaped for the rest of their life. So watch what you do, watch what you say, especially around our brown children.
That's right.
Something that I heard this week that really made my heart warm. It kind of gave me some tingly sensations, which let me know that I needed to take heed to what I heard. A woman said that men, men can affect a woman by the things that he does, and a woman can affect a man by the things that she says.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that hit home for your girl Trend. Okay, I'm gonna just say that. So, and just going back to this video on the mother, she's going back and forth in this verbal confrontation with the guy, that the 32-year-old that lost his life. It just goes to show that, oh, she's a woman. It doesn't matter what the woman says. It's nothing she said should have triggered him to want to knock her out or do any physical harm. But the reality is, we don't know the mental status. We don't know the upbringing of this man. We can just assume that he had some trauma on top of trauma, some disappointment on top of some hurt. We'll give him a benefit of a doubt to say that he was just hurt, wanting to hurt somebody else, right? But as women, as brown women, let's do better at stepping into ourselves as woman, and being in our correct place, by watching the stuff that come off of our tongue. And I'm taking my own advice. Everything that we think doesn't need to be said, right? But choosing the stuff that we think about. I mean, choosing the stuff that we talk about, choosing the stuff that we choose to discuss, that is what is going to make the generations better for the future. Calculating the wars, calculating the dialogue, the disagreements, the debates. Is it even worth it? How is this going to help us to be better as a brown community, is what I'm about to say off my tongue. If it's not going to hold any substance, if it's not going to build, right? If it's not going to bring awareness to make a positive change, then we as women, I feel like we're the first ones that kind of need to watch what we say. Men, be aware of the things that you are doing, because that is affecting your brown community as well. If you see a woman that is struggling to put her groceries in the car, help the woman. If you see a child that is struggling to learn how to ride his bike, get out there and help that young man, that fatherless child, and just do your part as a brown man in the community. And let's just start to heal each other, help each other, love each other, spread the knowledge, spread the laws. I think we need to create some laws, some new laws in the brown community.
Yeah, some new codes.
We need to scratch the no snitching, the sweep it under the rug, the if this is our whatever goes on here stays on here to an extent. There's some things that do need to be discussed. We need to encourage our children to be able to talk to people that they trust. We need to encourage our brown men to go and do therapy. We need to encourage our women to seek therapy, and encourage our brown men to be in tune with their emotions, and to encourage our women to be in tune with their masculinity as well. But we need to have balance. We need to create boundaries. We need to reveal the skeletons in the closet as a whole. There's trauma on trauma from past generations. It's time to sit the families down, to talk to the abusers, to talk to the victims, and let it be known, let's start to forgive ourselves, forgive others, and heal these family units, restore the family units so that the generations can be better. That's how I think that we can rebuild our brown community as well.
Yeah. To add, oh, girl, that was good. I love what you said, and I love how you mentioned sitting down and healing and going through, and also holding accountable. You mentioned something earlier, and I feel like to add to how we can rebuild our community, you mentioned being an influence, whether you want to or not, people are always looking up to you, whether you have children or not. I think that goes back to what you said earlier, that the OGs are gone, the grannies, the aunties are gone, and it's time for realignment. I feel like we are the new OGs. We have to rise to our position. We now have to fill the roles that our aunties and grandmothers and stuff like that would originally. That's just originally in order, and we have to get back into the order. You know what I mean? And the youth, they have to be strong. We have to build them up strong to, go against the grain, to not follow the crowd, to be okay, to be the only one that's not doing what everyone else is doing. But, it's time for us to fall into line and fall into place. And I feel like that's what's missing as far as like our foundation. We've kind of gone away just from our principles. From the principles that were passed down, we're making all these new rules and making up all these new, some of them are carried on that needs to be discarded, and some of them need to be, kept. But especially how you were like, the no snitching, like that needs to fucking go. You know what I mean? I don't mean no harm. That needs to go. We just need new principles. You know what I mean? We need new, governing laws, like there are all these, as brown people, we have all these understandings, all these languages and dialogues and concepts that we just understand as a people. And those do need to change. So, I love that. I feel like I don't have to add anything to it, because I feel like you said it beautifully. You said it beautifully.
I did want to add this last part. I see we getting on 2 hours. I think that's going to be a perfect time to get to break away. We definitely going to have some great topics for next week. I'm excited about this. I see where this could go. But I did want to say this while we're talking about the generation, the OGs and the baby Gs and the Gs. Okay. I think we have to do better, like creating these new laws and in new ways of life, right? The new kingdom. Elders, we can learn from the youth. This is what I want to say. Elders, we can learn from the youth. And youth, I think the youth would respect the elders. I think the youth would respect the OGs a little bit more if we would listen to them as well. Right? I think that we could learn from each other. And I think we've gotten to the point where we kind of feel like the young people, they don't know anything, but really, what do they say? The children are the future. We need to spend more time listening to them, listening to what they're going through, how they're growing up in society, their challenges, their views and their fears. And that gives the OGs an opportunity after they listen to relate, to reveal the things that the OGs that you guys have accomplished, because OGs, we're the OGs, but the triple OGs and the OGs, we're living, walking testimonies. We've been there. We've done that already. So let's sit down and listen to what these youth have to say, which is hard sometimes, especially for me having teenagers. It's hard for me to stomach and wrap my head around some of the stuff that they approach me with, but it's needed and it's helping. It helps me. It helps me to understand my children. It helps me to understand the world that they live in and the world that I'm in as well. When I'm going to Wendy's, when I'm going to Food Line, when I'm going to Target, they're the ones that's ringing me up, taking my order. So we have to do business with each other. So we need to learn how to communicate with each other, learning what we're going through, what our environments are like, the way that we think, the times that we're moving in, our fears and our goals. And that can help us as well to mend that bridge.
Yes, I love that. The respect is so big. And I think we're like that middle ground. And I feel like we're a little different than our parents. I know for me, I'll speak for myself. I respect my children as individuals. I respect their thoughts, their wishes. When I harm them, even unintentionally, or not even harm, I don't want to say that's the wrong word. When I offend them, when I hurt them, even if it wasn't intentional, I make it my point to be like, hey, I see you, I respect you, and I'm sorry. And then I hold myself further accountable by explaining what I actually did wrong. You get what I'm saying? So absolutely. That is the key. We have to respect these young people. We have to respect them, and we can learn so much, and older people have to respect us. That is wrong. That is something that needs to be unlearned, is you stay in a child's place, or not letting people speak, not letting people advocate for themselves, and you're just being right because you're old. I get how that needs to be thrown away. I love that. That's amazing. That's a great way to, I don't have nothing else to add to that. I love that.
Woo, I love you. And I love each and every person that joined us here today. Today's hot topic, we broke the silence. We took the first step for our podcast in the second season to break the silence and talk to our family, talk to our community, which is the brown people, or if you choose to identify as Black, and to let us know that not only are we the problem, but we are the solution. You guys, it's been 2 hours. What a beautiful honor. I'm so glad. I mean,
Wow.
good grief. Any other time, any other podcast, we probably be here crying like, girl, I can't believe it's been 2 hours.
That's
It
crazy.
flowed
This
so
is an
well.
amazing show.
I'm just grateful for you guys. Catch us here each and every week, every Monday around 9:30. We're bringing you guys the hottest topics that have to do with the culture. We also talk about our profession, which is the beauty industry. We're bringing you the hottest trends, the hottest styles, the hottest topics that have to do with the beauty industry, beauty and health, whether it be your inner health or your outer health or your mental health. We talk about all of those things, but today we just got a little bit deeper, and I think that maybe we'll continue to go this direction. We'll see where the Most High leads us and guides us by Monday. We don't know. We may change the whole topic.
Yeah.
Who knows? But either way, we're grateful for you guys, and we're grateful for you, and we're grateful for you. And thank you so much for listening in.
Yeah, this has been an amazing episode. I'm super grateful for like you and like the bravery and courage just to like, allow us to tap into, other things. This was my co-host idea, and I'm just glad that we as a collective decided to kind of go against the grain and practice what we preach and, talk about things, because the beauty industry is our industry and we love it, but our community is first, and our community is what we're a part of. And I'm so glad we talked about that today and took a pivot. We took a chance, and you guys showed up. Y'all have been engaged, y'all have been tuned in, and we appreciate you guys for it. And Trent, I just thank you for going on this journey with me. Like, this is exciting, and you're a life changer anyway. I always tell you that, like, you're a world changer, you are a force, and I love your insight, I love your perspective, and I enjoy being on this podcast with you. We're gonna do some great things. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of this, girl. I'm grateful. You're so silly, but I love it. Y'all know,
and I love you too. I'm grateful for your mind, your intelligence, those big words you bring to the podcast.
Can we talk about
it? So funny. Smarter and smarter every week. I know.
I know, y'all.
So much. My vocabulary has increased by at least 40% since I've been on this podcast with you. You hold me accountable. My business is definitely more sufficient. I handle my business more because I got you right on my shoulder, and I'm grateful, honey. Just as equally as you're grateful for me, I'm more grateful for you. You are my sister.
Yes,
sister,
you make
honey,
me laugh.
Rhyme. Okay, and if anybody try her, it's gonna be sister in crime. But yes, let us get off. It's been 2 hours, you guys. This has been a really, really great show. Tap in, go down the timeline. I don't know what they call it, but go and watch any part of this video. We do have titles to kind of be able to to let you know what we're talking about during the time on the video, but make sure you guys go back and check it out during the time. I don't know if you sit out for 2 hours straight, but maybe take 30 minutes, take an hour. If you like us, you'll probably get addicted and sit and listen to the whole thing. It's something that's universal, something that anyone that has brown skin, or if you identify as Black, you can relate, you will relate, you should relate, you need to listen. Share this with your mama, your daddy, your brother, your grandmother, your cat, your dog. If they in the brown community, they need to hear this podcast, and we want you guys to continue to engage. Even after we are off the live, we will come back, and make sure that we respond to the comments, we respond to the chat just like we did today. We encourage you guys to join us again on next week at 9:30-ish p.m. on Monday. And we love you.
Peace out.
We love you. We love you. We love you. And we out.
See you guys later. Take care.